Hi student, in part first we have seen that Joe's neighboring family. In neighboring house there is only old gentleman and his grandson lived. We have seen that to Joe's lovely fancy, this fine house seemed a kind of enchanted palace full of splendors and delights which no one enjoyed. She had long wanted to behold these hidden glories and to know the Lawrence boy who looked as if he would like to be known, if he only knew how to begin. Since the party, she had been more eager than ever and had planned many ways of making friends with him, but he had not been seen lately, and Joe began to think he had gone away when she one day spied a brown face at an upper window looking wistfully down into their garden, where Beth and Emmy were snowballing one another. That means to Joe's lovely fancy, this fine house seemed a kind of enchanted palace. According to Joe's imagination, this house is enchanted palace and full of splendors and delights which no one enjoyed. According to Joe, this house was very beautiful and very delighted, or there is only happiness, and that happiness no one can enjoy. No one has enjoyed. According to the Joe, this house was like that. She had long wanted to behold these hidden glories and to know the Lawrence boy, who looked as if he would like to be known if he only knew how to begin. And Joe wanted to see that hidden glories of that house. Hidden glories means guess the meaning of hidden glories in the context. That is means the beautiful things where in that house, the beautiful and expensive things that were probably in the house. She want to see that beautiful things or expensive things from that house, and also to know the Lawrence boy, and she want to uh, friendship with that Lawrence boy who looked as if he would like to be known. That means that Lawrence boy also want to make the friendship to someone if he only knew how to begin. Only that boy didn't know how to begin to start friendship or how to begin for friendship. Since the party, she had been more eager than ever and had planned many ways of making friends with him, but he had not been seen lately. When Joe had seen that boy in the party, and after that party, that boy had not seen in that house, so this girl, the Joe, began to think about that, and why she began to think about that boy, because she want to make the friendship with that boy, but after the party she had not seen that boy, so that Joe began to think he had gone away. So she herself thought that that boy might have gone from that house, Fancy one day spied a brown face at an upper window, looking wistfully down into their garden. Fair Beth and Emmy were snowballing one another. When she one day that Joe had seen that boy which has the brown face, and this figure she had seen in the upper window, and that times that boy was looking wistfully. That means longingly sad, thinking of the past. When she had seen that boy in the window, that times that boy was looking sad, and when she had seen that boy in that house window, that time her sisters Beth and Amy were throwing snowball on each others. Snowing balls, that means the ball which is made by snow. That boy is suffering for society and fun, she said to herself. And Joey is thinking to herself that this boy, Lawrence boy, is suffering for society and fun. His grandpa does not know what is good for him and keeps him set up all alone. And that Joe is thinking herself that that boy's grandpa has not allowed to that boy to play in the garden, and so that boy's grandpa has set up all the things in the house only. He needs a party of jolly boys to play with, or somebody young and lovely. According to Joe, that boy needed the party of Jolly's boy for the playing. Jolly's boys means the boys who are always happy. Hmm? So, according to the according to the Joe, that boy needed the happy boys party or a happy boys uh, for the playing, or somebody young and lovely, and somebody young and lovely persons needed, or the boys needed to play for that boy. I have a great mind to go over and tell the old gentleman so. And she is thinking herself that she will go in that house and tell to this thing to gentleman. The idea amused Joe, who liked to do daring things and was always scandalizing Meg by her square performance. Jo herself became happy, that means amused. The idea amused Jo, that means the Jo herself became happy due to her ideas. Jo always liked to do daring things and was always scandalizing me by her skewer performance. Due to her skewer or bad performance, Meg is always scandalizing. That means shocking or horrifying. That means Joe is always horrifying due to the sorry, Meg is always horrifying due to the Joe's bad performance, and but Joe is liked daring things. The plan of going over was not forgotten. The Joe had the plan to go in that house. She had not forgotten, and when the snowy afternoon came, Joe resolved to try what could be done. When there is the snowy afternoon near came, that times Joe resolved. That means Joe decided to try her plan, and she is thinking about that what could be done. She was She saw Mr. Lawrence drive off and then sallied out to dig her way down to the edge where she paused and took a survey. She saw that Mr. Lawrence went out of the house. That means that Lawrence boy's grandpa went out of the house, and then she sallied, that means set out from a place to do something. She went out of the house to dig her way down to the edge. The path which is near that house, where she paused and took a survey. There stopped or she stopped there, and she was observing that house, and in her observation she saw that in nearing house, in Lawrence house, all quiet, curtains down at the lower window, servants out of sight, and nothing human visible but a curly black head leaning on a thin hand at the upper window. When she observed Lawrence's house, she saw that there is only quietness, and a lower window's curtain is down, and there is no one seen in the garden or in that house servant. Nothing human visible. No one is there in that house. Only one person is there, and that person has curly black head or curly black hairs on his head, and that head was leaning, that means bent, on a thin hand at the upper window. And she saw that that boy who has the curly black hair and on his head, this figure she had seen in the upper window. There is he, thought Joe, poor boy, all alone and sick this dismal day. It is a shame. I shall toss up a snowball and make him look out, and then say a kind word to him. And Joe is thinking to herself that, or Joe is guessing that in that upper window there is this boy, this poor boy. This is the poor boy. She is guessing that all alone and sick this dismal day, and she is guessing that this boy is sick due to the dismal days, and she is thinking that she will throw snowball towards that window, upper window, and so that this boy will look out look from that window, and then she will speak kind words to him. Up went a handful of soft snow, and the head turned at once, snowing a face which lost its listless look in a minute, as the big eyes brightened and the mouth began to smile. Joan nodded and slapped and flourished her broom as she called out. Then, according to her plan, she had thrown the handful of soft snow towards that window. The head turned at once. When that handful of soft snow went or reached at that window, that times that head turned at once. Immediately that boy turned, showing a face which lost its listless look in a minute. In a minute, that boy has looked through that window, and the big eyes brightened, the mouth began to smile, and that boy's eyes looked brightened eyes, and that boy also began to smile while looking through that window. And Joe nodded and laughed and flourished her broom as she called out. And when she saw that boy's brightened eyes and smiley face, that times Joe was nodded and she was laughing, and also she is moving, that means flourished or waving or moving, waving her broom for calling that boy out of that house. How do you do? Are you sick? The Joe is asking to that boy, how do you do? Are you sick? Laurie opened the window and croaked out as hoarsely as a raven. And then, when Joe asked the question to that Laurie or that Lawrence boy, how do you do? Are you sick? That time, that Lawrence grandson opened the window and croaked out as hoarsely as a raven. That boy opened the window and looked out of that window, and see he was hoarsely speaking, that means gruffly, like the crow or raven. He had spoken to Joe, that is better, thank you. I have had a bad cold and been shut up a week. And she had he had told the Joe that uh, he was nice or the better, and from last week he had a bad cold, so that he had not came out of the house. Then Joe is replying that I am sorry. What do you amuse yourself with? Then that boy is replying that nothing. It is as dull as Tom's affair. Tom's as dull as Tom's means discuss. There is the